My name's Nick Warnock. We're at Crest Records in Newtown.
My name's Paulie. I'm the owner of Higher Ground Tattoos and Records. We're in Currajong.
My name's Baz. The record store is Egg Records in Newtown.
Hi, this is friend. He's my husband, Steve Warnick, and we're here at Arthur Records in America.
My name is Kelly Jackson. My shop is called The Mosh Pit Record Shop.
Well, I'm Paul Taz, this is Peter Wright. Record shop's the Velvet Fog.
Oh, well, look, it started off just... I was in other business, so was my brother-in-law, and he happened to work for record stores in Brisbane, and we got talking one Christmas and how we'd love to own our own record store, and we started it up back in 2000.
Crest Records started 20 years ago in a humble arcade in Penrith off High Street. And you know, Chris is the guy who founded it, Chris Samet. He'd worked at Big Disc before that, which is currently selected in Parramatta, and you know, he lived out in the western suburbs and used to travel into, you know, waterfront and stuff like that. So had a wide taste in independent music. Yeah, and I basically walked in there when I was a uni student. I'd recently moved from Cairns to Penrith to go to University of Western Sydney. And yeah, the place just felt really awesome. I didn't have anything like that where I grew up. I was like this 17-year-old kid in a Stooges t-shirt. So Chris, the owner, was pretty curious, like, about, you know, how I got into that. And yeah, I became a semi-regular, and eventually a job opened up for me. Yeah. And I never left.
I moved here about 9-10 years ago. I live just up the road. The name of the shop, we get isolated here a few times. We have a bridge down the road that floods, and we get isolated here a lot. So one of the floodings, when we were flooded in, my wife and I walked past this shop and it was for lease, and I went, how cool would it be to have a shop here? And then it had a little number in the window, and we rang the guy and he said, yeah, it's for lease. So we came and had a look and we liked it. And we were lucky that the landlord was sympathetic towards tattoos. And that's where the name comes from, because we're on higher ground up here. So yeah, so that was a pretty up name.
This is our fourth place that we've actually had the shop in. We moved about a year ago. We were across the road from where we are now. But it started out up the road as an art studio for things that were made out of records, and it just morphed into a record shop, and here we are today.
Started late 1999. It was, I don't know, finding work in the mountains was really hard. I didn't really want to travel to Sydney, and I'd worked in record shops, so I figured I could run one. It was just a matter of getting enough stock together. I had enough people interested doing markets and fairs and stuff like that. And when I felt like it was time to take the punt, got a very small little shop, cheap shop, and already had quite a bit of clientele, so the shop started out pretty well.
Crest Records has new and second hand. You know, I'd say we focus on independent and I would say somewhat left of field records, but that doesn't mean we don't have the classics, whatever that means. So I think we have a history with local independent music, and that's what people first saw us filling the kind of like gap in, as in no one else was taking a bunch of stuff within Australia seriously, but at the same time we were importing what I would consider contemporaries from North America. And I think we've kind of changed with the tides and just basically...
Our mantra is all killer, no filler. So that is partially about the content, obviously, and also the condition. But we sell both new vinyl, new releases, reissues, but we've got a fantastic collection of really rare vintage records.
But we started off as second hand, and once we got our handle on that, we realized that the untapped market of the new vinyl, we could certainly compete with the big box. We didn't know in the beginning that they don't necessarily get to handpick what they actually sell.
It is a little bit of everything, but I guess if you were to say, does it lean, I guess it'd be more your classic rock stuff. I mean, you know, your Hendrix, Zeppelin, Dylan, Bowie. But that's not the focus. I mean, we cover everything from, you know, Australian to jazz, blues, hip hop, that stuff. But the main, I guess the main stock that we tend to get always seems to be more in that genre. But, you know, and then newer stuff like what's on at the moment, which is Wet Leg. But, you know, so yeah, so we cover quite a bit of stuff.
We focus mostly on second-hand. Not really into new vinyl. We'll order it if people want it, but we much prefer second-hand, pre-loved. It's all about the hunt.
Well, obviously those things at certain points in time have severely damaged record shops. I mean, it was only 15 years ago that obituaries were being written about record shops all over, and, you know, pressing plants had closed down, and it was generally considered to be game
The
over,
industry, manufacturing abandoned itself.
I think just it's one of those rare things in a way, people power, because people just simply refuse to stop collecting vinyl.
It's both a nostalgia thing for people of my generation. I was talking to a lady this morning who I was tattooing, and she said that she remembers when she was a kid that every Christmas they used to play the Muppets record, and for Christmas. And she goes, we still have the Muppets record. And I said, well, you would never remember the first time you streamed your favourite, you know, you don't have it. Oh, remember that playlist we played 3 years ago for Christmas? You would never remember that. But you have, I mean, you talk to any record collector and they'll tell you the first 10 albums that they owned, and they will tell you the first album that they borrowed and listened to, and, you know, the first album they discovered a band. And I think there's something tangible about owning. It's not as disposable.
There's a bit of a ritual to playing records as well, to getting the record, putting it on, reading the liner notes, reading the cover, finding that variant that you don't have, and it's all about the hunt as well. It's about hunting for it. There's nothing fun about hunting for a song online.
More people than ever are buying records, and there's even an upswing on CDs. On the other hand, I think that a lot of those like swaths of people that are buying record, it's almost kind of like this this yearning for something kind of physical. But that doesn't mean they're going to end up buying 2 records a week from the rest of their life. That probably means they want, you know, those kind of statement records, which often could be like, I don't know, Jay Dilla or Fleetwood Mac. You know, it's kind of like that's the upswing in record buyers. But I think there is, especially in some music subcultures, be it metal or avant-garde music, there's this kind of like, again, this kind of very connected, kind of like deep appreciation of the music, and I think that's what draws them to purchase it in a world where that's really not necessary.
Not everybody wants to be thought of as an algorithm.
And I think it's worth pointing out, this shop started smack bang in the middle of the digital era selling vinyl. And it's survived 23, going on 24 years, selling vinyl, smack bang in the digital era. So there is, and always has been, a market for it, despite what maybe media. I mean, it's easy to just sit back and listen to something on Spotify, but if you really do love music and love the artist, you want an artifact and you want something that's actually going to be meaningful to you. So this is a shop that started and has survived and thrived through all the Spotifys, the YouTubes, everything. So it says something about people, you know.
One of my friends who he's a tattooist who runs a label, he says every record collector is a potential millionaire, which I found really funny. I think that's every person that collects records always has those treasures they think are worth something. But I would say buy stuff that you like and sort of, I don't know, like try and share the enthusiasm with other people as well. I think it's a real community, a record community. People are really into buying and selling and collecting records and talking about bands, and I think it has such a rich history in music and it's timeless. So I think make a personal connection with the music and then buy those records, and don't get so hung up maybe about the worth of what the records are, but more what makes
Once
you.
you've got a setup or you've already got one and you just need to actually buy some records, well, wouldn't they, obviously want to start in the $10 boxes or the $5 boxes and just buy some low end just to see if they like it, and the actual having to get up and change the record every 22 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
Right? You might not be into it, but
if
if
the
you are,
person-
you'll get hooked.
If the person that you're talking about when you say start collecting is somebody that's never done that before,
Yeah, I
but it
don't
could
feel
also
that
be
way.
somebody that got rid of their record collection 30 years ago and has started again.
Yeah,
which
they're
is
trying to
literally-
recreate their collection.
Literally
That's
what
different.
happened to me. That's what I did in a way. Recreated my own collection and then built on it and then started a shop. But
So those guys will have a list
So
of
those
the
guys
things they
already
want.
kind of know what's going on. But yeah, I think the more you invest in a reasonable quality hi-fi, the better the experience is going to be. So it depends on your budget, obviously.
Look for who you love and then try and find those records, talk to the record store owner as well, and then look for who the people that you love, look for who their influences are, and just go for that through there. It can be an expensive hobby, but I think most hobbies are pretty expensive.
Visit shops that have been around a while and talk to the shop owners about their tastes and things and get some advice that way. That's what I'd be saying. On the internet, there's a million people giving advice on how to do it. A lot of them weren't even born when vinyl was a thing. I think if you want to, you've got to get down where the rubber meets the road and talk to people who are actually out there who have got a broad range of things and can give you information on different styles and types of music and some of the pitfalls and traps that are out. There's a lot of sharks in the pool selling vinyl at the moment because it's all the go, according to the media. There's a lot of people who are willing to charge you or overcharge you for things that aren't necessarily, genuinely original pressings, or you'll get a lot of false information on both sides. About it being overly expensive because it can be, but it isn't necessarily. And plus, you need to, I think, get an appreciation of what's out there and what does a new vinyl pressing mean compared to an original pressing? What are the differences? And I'm not just talking price, because there are quite a few. So I'd say find a shop that's been around a long time with friendly owners and go and have some conversation.